everybody, and welcome back to Heidi's house. This is your host, Queen Bee Heidi B. And today, our featured guest is Salvatore Lo Giudice, also known as Judge J. He is a DJ, radio host, and music producer. I'm so excited to hear more about his house music journey. So, are you ready? Then, let's go. So, here he is, Salvatore Lo Giudice, aka
Right.
Judge J, is in the
Hi.
house.
Hi. Peace.
Welcome to Heidi's house. I am so happy to have you as our featured guest. How are you today?
I'm very honored and I'm very happy to be your guest. Heard a lot of the show. I've been following it quite a lot. Very interesting things come out, and I see that many of our ancient. I'm more ancient than ancient. Let's say that I am Jurassic. Lots of people call me a fossil, a living fossil. But lots of these kind of people have kind of passed the same thing that I've been passing too. So in some way we meet each other, and we have, like to say, lots of lived experiences that are very alike. But I'm very happy to be here. Beautiful woman, nice work, and in the house. That's most of all.
Wonderful. And I have to say that I'm always very, very happy and pleased to have people who have been around for a bit longer while, because it's all about really sharing on those house music experiences, histories, stories, and more. And to it is always wonderful experience for me as a host here, and I always feel that I learn something new or get some new kind of insight to the history of this beautiful genre of house music and house music culture. And then it also is very great for the other younger generations to educate them in a beautiful way about the history of the house music, as it has been experienced, the near like close history, so to say, and through the people who have been going through it in their life and experienced it. So that's always amazing. So
you see,
yeah.
music is just a chain reaction. It's just a chain reaction. And those that are living it now, in 20 years, they'll be remembering how it was 20 years back and seeing how it moved and how it changed, but it's all connected with each other, just like a chain, you know. And let's say I'm old, but I remember the periods as my interests with dance music started. And when I connect them together, I just see it's just a progressive, normal change in a chain reaction, because each new genre that comes out is inspired in a certain way from a genre that was there before.
True, absolutely true. And now in this little snapshot kind of podcast, when we have our featured guest, we take a kind of a quick glimpse on their house music journey. And I always start by the same question, no matter who the guest is, because I just love the fact to hear how they put it in their own words. So now, Judge J, I would like to ask you the first question, which goes, tell us a bit, who is Judge J?
Oh, Judge J is now Judge J, but he started off 1977 as capital T. But my name is Salvatore, but the nickname, the short name is Totti. In Sicily, they call it Totò, Toridro. But
Yeah.
Totti is a not so wide used short name of Salvatore. So it started off there to that period. I just came back from Zimbabwe. Um, to that time, it was still called Rhodesia, and where I lived 14 years. And as I came back one day, I was having lots of problems in Italy. Just couldn't fit into the Italian way of life. A lot of problems. And I met a guy that he was working in a radio station, and he says, "Hey, you got a good voice. You speak good English. Would you like to start in this radio station?" 1977. And I said, "Yeah, why not? It's great, something new." Though the first year I was more the record cleaner. I was controlling all the records that had been played, cleaning them off, and saying, "Listen, there's a scratch there," and whatsoever. That went the whole year. No
Yeah.
microphone, no mixer, nothing at all.
Mhm.
And yeah, and I started off my first programs without a name, a no name, because I wasn't announcing myself. I'll just play music and every now and again just saying on the microphone, state ascoltando Radio Quota Mille. You're listening to Radio Quota Mille. Just one day, till a day, the owner came and said, "Listen," gave me a cassette, and he said, "Listen to this guy." And it was a guy from Radio Milano International, one of the best radio stations to their period in Italy, FM radio stations. And his name was Ronnie Jones. And he was just speaking in English, every now and again, a few Italian words, but with that English style. And he said, "I want to have you exactly the same way. I want you just to speak in English, and you're not going to be Salvatore or whatsoever. Your name is capital T." So that's how it started. And yeah, from so many years have passed through. I've been going through so many different kind of projects, and my name has always been changing. Atomic, Salvador, till I arrived to this Judge J, which happened exactly 2018. I was making a live set here on Facebook, and a guy that I got to know, he just mentioned himself and presented himself. And we started speaking afterwards. He was a producer, underground producer, very experimental in this case, not really going one direction. And he said, "Listen, would you like to jump into my project? We call it Two Minds." What we had to change after, because another group in Israel with trance was with the same name, and we changed it after to mind. And he said, "Listen, you're going to be Judge J." And from that moment, the name changed and stayed. Judge J is uh, is a wide open-minded person in the underground scene of electronic dance music. I'm not talking about EDM, this commercial stuff. I'm talking about electronic dance music, the underground scene. That means house, techno, tech house, deep minimal tech, no matter what. That is Judge J. And Judge J helped me to get to know lots of well-known house producers, which I work together. One overall is, for example, Cassie Ware,
Yeah.
one a pioneer from house music, with who I have lots of contact today. Ben Rebel, for example, also
Mhm.
since the 90s in the scene,
Yeah.
and Zaylan, with who I'm working in the last period, lots with remixes and whatsoever, with who we exchange ideas and minds and points of views. And Judge J is the sign. It's going to be also my end. Let me say it straight. It's going to be also my end. I'm not going to be changing name anymore. I'm not going to be changing directions anymore. This is where I'm going. In a moment, I've gone back to my roots, which is house music.
Yeah. Such a beautiful and exciting introduction to your so to say musical profile or journey. And like you described, it is going like that circle somehow
Yes, it's got to
from the
close up.
beginning. Yes, wonderful. And I want to also send a shout out to all of those amazing people mentioned here, Cassio Ware and Ben Repo and Zayla.
Hey,
Wonderful,
hi.
wonderful people.
Hi,
Shout
guys.
out to all of them.
And I'd like to also send hello to my partner who brought me in as Judge J, and that
Mhm.
is Enrico Lobina in art, Henry Mann with No Name Lobs. Together,
Mm,
we've got this project going on called Mind to Mind. Hi,
wonderful.
Enrico.
Shout out to him as well. So, um, your roots are really deeply in radio, as you said, and
Yes,
you have
yes.
been broadcasting all different sorts of music. And as you mentioned, um, your heart beats with the underground sound of house and techno and more, like you mentioned there.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Now, as we are focused in house music particularly, and as you are um, DJing with all of that experience what you have, I know this is something that might be a bit difficult for some of the featured guests to answer, but still, I would like to ask, um, are there some particular tracks that are you're always like always go-tos when it comes to house music? What would be your ultimate set of house tracks that always work for you,
Well,
or you always love to play?
listen. I must say the truth. I'm always on the search. That
Hmm.
means that only a few tracks have really stayed in my mind, and they are still there because
Hmm.
they indicate a certain point of beginning. But as I lived house music um, intensively till 1995, because they are changed over to techno,
Hmm.
still keeping on following house, but techno, because in Germany, techno is the track that is the
Yeah.
genre that was populating more. House music started to uh, um, mix itself with R&B and hip hop, and the club started to be very mixed in this case, and it wasn't more my scene like I loved house music as house music.
Hmm.
But let's say that I could say, okay, Jesse Sanders, on and on, but it's always the same stuff, you know.
Hmm.
They are those tracks that made house become big. But I
Yeah.
was always on the search of something that was unusual, something
Mm.
that, uh, um, let's say, the DJ can be a jukebox, a music player, or he can be a DJ. The public wants to have certain sounds, and you have to put them in the right moment. But the moment that you only play music that the public wants to hear, then you're not a DJ anymore, because you have to play
Mm.
music that the public is supposed to hear to be a DJ. And that's the
Yeah.
reason why I'm always on the search of something new, something that's completely strange, but at the same time fascinating, right?
Yes.
So I just let me just make an example. People speak about Jesse Sanders and on, right? First house track, and I come in as a queer. I shoot completely queer, and I say, no, wait a minute. A few months before On came out, Strafe came with Set It Off.
Hmm.
Set it up, or set it off. I don't remember. Only the difference is that house was considered dance to that period because house music as genre was still not born,
Hmm.
and Set It Off was already categorized as electro. But if you remember electro, Grandmaster Flash, Paul Hardcastle, I don't know, just name
Yeah.
it, it's completely different to this Set It Off that was completely structured on this 4 on the 4, like house was supposed to be. So that is the track that I was looking for, and that is the track that I completely always play, no matter when, no matter how. It is an evergreen. It fits everywhere, and it gets the people moving.
Mm,
Even the
mm.
people don't know it, because
Yeah.
even old music can be new music for the new generation, as long as it is perfectly presented. And Strafe is for me that 1A track that I always follow, because it came out and it was something different to
Yeah.
all that other stuff. It was, hey, what's that? It's like Trio came out, da, da, da. Do you remember the track?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
Yeah.
remember.
Completely minimalistic. And all the DJs I
Everybody.
knew to this period were saying, what the shit is that? And I said directly as a camera, this is going to be a hit.
Yeah, it
This
became
is going to
huge.
be a hit. And it became a hit because it was strange. It was something that popped out in a moment that nobody was really thinking about it. And hey, it was great.
Yeah.
1978, Human League. Human League is a, you know it,
Yeah.
Don't You Want Me, Baby. But
Yeah. Yeah.
1978, they came out with a great track that, like, it was the right track in the wrong moment. All right.
Mhm.
It became a little bit famous in the beginning of the 80s, just before Don't You Want Me came out. They remastered it again. But 1978, they came out with Being Boiled. That was strange. It was
Mhm.
completely out of the period, because in that period, disco was going, funk, soul, electropop was not really in that moment. And Human League came out with something, and I said directly to them, wow, that's great.
Yeah.
This is what I mean. What I mean, I can tell you, make you a list of house tracks, but I say, all right, you know something, uh, definition of house, Zaylan, that's great.
Yeah.
Or your last one that you made, I put it in my track
Yeah.
source chart. That's
Oh,
great
thank
because
you.
it's
Yes,
strange.
yes.
It's nothing. It's not something usual. You know, it's something that goes a little bit out of this. What I don't like, what I don't like of the today's productions, is that they are all nice, but they're
Mhm.
all alike. That means that a DJ plays and he plays one beat, one sound.
Mhm. Yeah.
1 hour, you just think it's one hour music, right? Uh, because they all alike one to each other, and that's not what I like. I want to have something that gives a different flow, that break, that the change of rhythm, the changes of sounds. Uh, um, it's like when you eat Italian and you got a 4 plate menu. You
Yeah.
know, you
Yes.
eat something different, and everything is completely different tasted. It's like
Yes.
you sit on the beach and you just watch the sea waves. Not
Mhm.
every sea wave is exactly the same. One is a little bit higher, one is a bit lower, the one is a little bit
Yes.
wider, and so on. That is just the way music is supposed to be proponed. And
Yes.
it don't matter what the DJ propounds, as long as he goes these ways. And it don't matter if I put in my DJ set, I got my mind made up from the instant funk, which is completely funk. It don't
Yeah.
matter.
Yes.
It's house. It's in the house. Okay.
Exactly. I believe that too. You can also, as a DJ, when you describe it so beautifully, we are not being jukebox, but we are being curators, we are being selectors, we are being educators. We serve people. When we do it with that intention, we serve them something like, we sometimes hear that they didn't know that they like. And it's a beautiful way really to do that DJing approach, and be a selector and find out something that is somehow different, and then build up a set
Right.
that has,
Right.
just like you said, the meal. It has different parts. It has starters
Different
and
tastes. Yeah.
all the different, and that brings the excitement. It brings that experience, so to say, the
Right.
listening experience, whether you're listening radio show or you're in a club or whatever it is. But it is truly truly, I believe also and share that idea that that's what DJing is all
It's supposed
about
to be.
at its best,
Right.
so to say. Yeah.
It's
And
supposed
of
to be
course,
that way.
all of us are different cooks as we are as a DJ, so
Yeah,
we
yeah.
offer a little bit different kind of menus, and that makes it just even more exciting. So, okay, today I go to this restaurant and tomorrow here. So,
Just have to watch out not to put too much salt in the soup, just in
yeah,
case.
true, true, true. Um, okay, so regarding the influences, as you are describing a very wide appetite towards different genres of music, different styles of music, and so on, which is beautiful. However, is there some particular artists or producers that have somehow touched you or inspired you the most during
Yeah,
these years?
yeah, yeah. 1987, Acid Tracks. As I heard this track, right, later on, we found out that 1982, another kind of acid sound, I don't remember it now his name, was made before, and therefore acid was not really born in 1987. But that's the story of house music. Everybody says that's a period, but that is not the period, because somebody else finds something else that's from a
Mm,
period before.
yeah.
Okay, but Future came out with acid tracks. Uh, that was something so query. It was something so different. It was something so strange, in which I fell in love directly from the moment onwards. And I stuck to acid a very long time, also in my DJ sets. And I found it also so nice because acid was then transformed in acid trance, in acid techno, and whatsoever. This acid, right? And and future is for me, DJ Pierre and the guys,
Mm,
is for me something that goes over the horizon,
yeah.
from sightseeing, all the other things. I mean, we can talk about Larry Levin, we can talk about Tony Humphries, Frankie Knuckles, Freddie Jack, Master Funk, you name it,
Mhm.
Adonis, you name it. There's so many inside, but each one from them were in some way stuck to their what they gave life to, Chicago house and garage, right? But acid house, well, you must say that till acid house was born, uh, um, house music for us in Europe was not only dance music.
Mhm.
Nobody was talking about house music. We were talking about dance music. But as acid house was born, it was acid house directly from the first day.
Yeah, yeah. And it swiped all over the Europe as well. When it came from the States, it was a like really an underground experience
Yeah,
first, and I remember being a lucky in our local DJ community to be joining to these really acid house parties
yeah.
where people were
Because
happily presenting their new vinyls and what they got ordered with those
as
wonderful
as
tracks.
movement, as movement, let's say it was the beginning.
Hmm.
It started off as acid house party in Chicago. Then it was banned because of the drug consume. It came over, swapped over to Birmingham, if I'm not if I remember good. And after a short period, it was also there banned in the clubs. Then it started
Hmm.
as a rave, and
Yeah,
from that moment, the raves started off. What came after with Love Parade and whatsoever, raves
yeah.
started off from acid house.
It is. It totally did. And that's how I also personally remember experiencing it. That first going to the acid house underground parties, then little by little it evolved into the raves
Yeah,
and to many more, and really then the techno parties, and I see that kind of pathway pathway there
Yeah,
as
well,
well.
when we speak about raves, everybody's got directly in the head directly techno or
Yeah.
trance. But
Hmm.
raves were these forbidden parties on out left industrial halls or
Yeah.
out in the forests and whatsoever. Everybody thinks it directly techno, but no, rave is
Oh, no.
house. Rave started by acid house, and it is house. That is the beginning. That's the
Yeah.
real beginning of raves.
And if people really listen to those early tracks of Acid House, you can really, see why it was so. And even, I'm thinking as a DJ mixing Acid House together with the techno and those kind of genres that then, preceded, not preceded, followed that. So
Also,
it really makes musically sense as well.
that's dynamic. To tell the truth, I play acid house in my techno sets. I play acid house in my house sets. In my deep minimal tech sets, it's a kind of hybrid genre, which is not really stuck on the BPMs on what it's produced. I mean, I played certain acid tracks that were going on 122 BPMs, pushing them up 132 BPMs, and they still sounded great. So it's acid house. You say it without taking acid officially.
So, I have heard also that you have been awarded of your DJing skills. So, could you tell something more about that?
Yes, well, in radio station 82, I think it was, I became a national Italian radio DJ, and a year after, I made the examinations to become an Italian national disco DJ. It's called Associazione Italiana DJ, and I made a contest 83, a national contest where I arrived in the top 10 in Italy. It was very unusual. I mixed, that time it was 20 minutes, mixing and speaking at the same time, where I rapped a little bit over and whatsoever. And it came over very good. And from then onwards, I started to get working offers around in Italy, but very short. And I came to Germany, Cologne, and there I got to know my wife and I stayed. But this is thanks to this Associazione Italiana DJ. Um, yeah, that was maybe the most important part of my DJing life. Without, who knows who would have, how it would have gone on. But that gave me the kick, the final kick to explode. You know,
Wonderful, amazing. Thank you for sharing that. So, Judge Jay, now our viewers are certainly interested to hear what got you into music production.
well, 2018. 2018, I started off as a co-producer, not really producing myself, but working together with Henry Ram with No Name Lobs, with Mind to Mind, or Two Minds project from this period. Um, then 3 years later, I was sort of alone because I was getting angry with my partner because he was like not hearing my advices. And I
Hmm?
said, so let me start alone to make him understand what I'm talking about. But it was just stuffing around, playing, nothing very serious. But in short time, um, I was really getting into it. Got to know Cassie Ware, making lots of remixes for him, and at the same time making a few productions with him. And from then it's just a chain reaction. Started off, then I came out with a new project called Shadow. I wanted to be called Shadow, but it's on Beatport. The name was given away, so I chose Shadow, Shado, capital letters,
Hmm.
which is supposed to be, let's say, an alternative, very underground, experimental thinking of fusion from different genres techno
Wow.
house, and putting them all together and seeing what comes out. Judge A is more straight on house,
Yeah.
techno, but straight. Um, so I've got something coming out the next month with Zaylan, a remix of him. His body is working, and we decided to let it come out on the label with which I'm working a lot together, NDI, New Dadaism Incorporated, because it's more an underground label.
Yeah.
It's got this kind of public that follows it. They love this kind of experimental way of making things. So I've made a kind of deep house track that's not really deep house, and I
Yeah.
made a
Yeah.
techno track that's not really techno. It's got
No.
lots of funky senses inside, and
Mhm.
I made the last for Jack's Records, the Chicago Jacks from Chicago remix under Usual Suspect. That is going completely different to the typical techno.
Mhm.
It was more a deep minimal tech with techno influences, not going at 140 BPMs, but 125. I
Yeah.
just tried to go against the streams and just see what comes
Yeah.
out, you know. I'm not the kind
Yeah.
of guy that goes looking for success. No, I just say it has
Mhm.
to be me.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
yeah, and
That's
naturally other projects with Mind to Mind, but it's still in the air because I'm hanging too much on radio station in the moment, which is concluding at the end of the month of August.
yes, and I have to say, just like you do your DJing and you do your radio programs there with the music as well, it's wonderful to see that you don't limit yourself, you don't put yourself to certain kind of box. And just like you said, you are not doing it with the money-hungry dollar signs in your eyes, but with really from the point of creativity, what you want to express and what kind of
Yeah.
vision do you have, and that is beautiful thing because it's really it is like enjoying the richness of different kind of creative musical styles in a creative ways and expressing yourself, and it's like a play. It makes it fun, it makes it very inspiring, and that's the way I believe one gets those kind of tracks then that might even have a chance to suddenly stand out because they are so different, and
And
they're
suddenly,
kind of like setting out there something or putting out there something new.
yeah,
But really the ground and the core of doing these things is really expressing yourself. So I love to see and notice how it comes out in all of those areas that you express yourself in.
yeah, it's a journey. It's a journey.
Mm.
I just say I start off with something. I never prepare my sets. I start off with a packet of, let's say, I pull out 40, 50 tracks. And I
Mhm.
say to myself, so let's see where this journey takes us. And
Yeah.
it's a question of your humor in the day, how you feeling. You feeling euphoric, then you'll see that the set gets another. It's an expression of your way of being, your state of humor.
Yes.
That is DJing, and this is the same way that you transmit your message to the public. And
Yes.
if they understand it, then they're in. If they don't
Yeah.
understand it, then I say it was a shit DJ.
Yeah, in one way, I think what I'm hearing, but I'm rephrasing it, is that the people sense your vibe. You have that certain energy that you bring into your set, that kind of, whether joy, fun, that kind of element there. And then people somehow sense it through the selection of
Yeah,
music,
yeah,
what you
yeah. Radio
do
is
there.
different. Is different to live. You know, live you got your public there, and you can
Mm,
read your public. You can feel your public.
yeah.
Radio, you don't see nobody. You just have
Mm.
to hope that you make something, and you just hope that on the other side somebody's there
Yes.
and says, "I stick to the 60 minutes," or "Ah, nah, come, let's switch it off." You
Yes.
never know. It's always been
Yeah,
like this. Radio. It's always been like this.
true, true. I have to agree, and it's kind of like even I would say that making mixes for radio, it is even more personal in that sense because
Yeah,
it's you really put yourself
yeah,
and your
that's
vision
you.
out there. Yeah.
That's you. That's you. That's you on radio. Outside, it's just suiting yourself to the situation.
Yeah,
But on
it's
radio,
more.
it's you.
Yeah, it's more really outside. It's more like the vibing with others and then communicating
Yeah,
more tighter, so to say. So there's definitely that difference. I also noticed. Um, okay, we are for sure staying tuned for all of those new releases and people watching this. If you haven't checked Jay's releases before now, go and check them out. Amazing stuff and something that is a bit more unusual and
unusual.
more creative, and it can, inspire you. So please go and check those out. Now, we talked a lot about the radio and the beginnings of your journey, so to say, started from the radio. Now, I would like to ask more about your own show titled House Story. What's the story behind the house story?
Well, I'm on Crop of Music Radio in
Mhm.
Ibiza, and since years now, since 3 years now, and it started off with Global United. It was a radio show with five resident DJs, all different genres, and
Yeah.
with guests from all the kind of world. That's the reason we said Global United, the United DJ network in the world. And at the end of the show, people started to jump off and say, "No, I don't want to be resident anymore," and whatsoever. It don't matter. It don't matter. And the owner of the radio said to me, "Listen, what we are missing is somebody who has enough experience to present a show that is an anthology and not just a show of house music."
Yeah.
And I said, he said to me, "Would you feel to make it?" Now I knew that it's a whole lot of work behind. It's not just getting there. You have to have the music. You have to go and see which year it is, what label it is, and so on. It's what is by certain artists, their biography and whatsoever. Learned a lot. And I said,
Yeah.
"Listen, I can't do it directly now. Give me a year time to prepare myself, and then I'll get on." And so I started last season with it, and it's one of my most difficult and loved radio shows that I've ever done.
Mm.
It there is a whole lot of work behind, lots of stuff you just don't get. I had to try to convert and make with my studio mastering the tracks in the best way as possible so that they can be heard and whatsoever. It's not that I had 40,000 records and I'm stuck on 2,000 left because 2018, as I stopped DJing, uh, um, I sold near about everything. Right. So now I need the records again. Now I don't have them, and I live
Mm.
in Germany. And can you please send me some of your music stuff there? Yeah, yeah, okay. And I got lots of stuff together, and I'm happy that it goes to an end. And my last program, your track is going to be included because it's going to end off with the actual what is going now on house music. And it
Thank you.
started and it started off. My first program was what inspired house, and
Mm.
it started off with funk, disco, soul, Italo dance, synth pop, new wave, new the French electro pop, and whatsoever. And then went over to what was the first. It was a journey
Yeah,
into house music, and that's the reason why I say it's history for your ears. House
exactly.
story is history for your ears. Right.
And
That's it.
it's a beautiful thing, I'm into musicology myself. I used to study that also, and it is something that is really, when people probably, like you were describing, they have no idea how much work does it take to prepare that kind of show in the first place, really, to have all the details of the artist, the bios, the discographies, then the fact, like you were saying, those releases in a condition that they are able to be
Yeah,
broadcasted in the first place because of the technology that time, for the recordings done was way different, and
very
it just,
different.
they are not in a quality, even some of them, to be able to be aired in a modern radio stations,
Radio, yeah, right, right,
and
right.
then reaching out to people. And when it comes to the house music, as you said, it is been influenced and has influenced so many other genres, and it's in a constant, I would say, it's like a, I don't know.
Evolution.
Yeah,
It's a
evolution. It's
const
like a
it's a
soup.
constant transformation. It's a constant evolution.
Yes. Exactly.
You must think that over 42 years of house music, there
Hmm.
are over 40 genres and subgenres that are
Yes.
born on and are considered house music. There is
Yes.
no genre in history of dance music that has made so much as house music.
Yeah.
Disco music, everybody speaks about disco music. Disco music lasts 3 years.
Mm.
3 years, and disco music was gone. But
Mm.
disco music influenced so many other genres.
Yeah.
You know, funk, funk was about 5, 6 years, and it was gone.
Mm.
House music is since over 40 years. Just
And
think that
now, when
over.
you mentioned that, I would even dare to say somehow that the revival of disco, for instance, it has been happening because of house connection, so to say. The
That's the
house
origin,
has
yeah,
kept a lot of disco music alive, and maybe brought people back to listening also the disco originals, due to the fact that you have house versions,
yeah,
available of those tracks, or so on. And same goes um, with with the fact that you were saying that there were so many other genres, happening at the same time, and you can see how house somehow has kind of like immersed itself.
fusion,
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 yeah, house fusion.
fusion. They fuse.
It's
That
really fusion.
that is the that is the where I say all these pioneers, they were brilliant. They were just
Yeah.
brilliant. Who came up with the idea to fuse 7, 8 different genres to make
Hmm.
one genre? It's just
Yeah.
it's incredible. But let me just tell you something, Heidi. We talk about house music. We talk about when it started in the beginning of the 80s. No, no.
Mm.
House music started mid 70s, and it
Hmm.
was disco music. And it started in the back rows of the roads in these hidden clubs where gays and whatsoever used to meet each other. Uh, that was the beginning of house music, which is exactly the same philosophy as we say, yeah, warehouse and whatsoever, or the Paradise Garage. Now, the philosophy started way back before Loft was
Mm.
born,
Mm.
in the back rows with disco music. That is the beginning of house music.
Mm. And really, now when talking with some of our guests, we have been, bringing the connections to, yes, to disco, to Italo disco and house, all
Yeah,
of
yeah,
those. And if you think about the evolvement of the instruments, the drum machines, and all those, at that time, how they affected various kind of genres. So it's not really, if you start to think about it, it's not surprising to see why house got involved or was that approach was, uh, kind of easy to blend with the existing genres what we had there, or it was able to build on them, so to
yeah.
say.
Thanks,
Yeah.
808 and 909. And then after it's the 303.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because to that moment, the drummers would drum in. Have you ever tried to mix a 70 vinyl track? and
Mm-hmm.
keep them together? No ways. No ways. You won't. You will keep flash maybe four beats together and then they're gone.
Yeah,
That is the whole story of house. It was just this 808, techno the 909, and acid the 303 that brought this four on the floor, and that
yeah.
made it possible that the DJs were able to mix longer together, and this mixing was let's say beat matching. This beat
Mm,
matching was that evolved and made house music great. But if it wasn't for Grandmaster Flash in 1978 that
yeah.
invented that invented the slip mat, which is only a piece of cloth. It's nothing electric. It's nothing. This piece of cloth, that is that revoluted the whole
Mm-hmm.
DJ scene. Not
Yes.
the beat matching, also this four on. Without the slip mat, it wouldn't have been possible.
Yeah. Such a wonderful interview, and Salvatore, that we could, continue probably for hours, but I'm just hoping that really this discussion, this short snapshot kind of interview, got many people interested more to learn about house music and to learn about different artists, those influences, to listen more different kind of tracks. Go and check some of the classic releases that you mentioned here, and of course also to learn about your music,
Okay.
your house music journey, your contribution to the house music culture. It is a huge thing that you are doing by running the show that requires such a deep investigation and research into this genre that is and has been constantly evolving and expanding. And yes, house has been underground and it still is
It still
and still
is.
continues to be there, but it is in a beautiful way always been there since the beginning, since the early years until now. And I'm just happy that beautiful music also unites people from all over the world, just like you and me here, and all the
The great
viewers.
the great house community, because we are a great family, even if we don't know each other.
Mm,
We are a family because house music is spiritual. It
yeah,
it goes in your ears, through your veins, in your heart, to your brain, and in your soul. That
yes,
is house music. It's just a real big community, even if we don't know each other.
absolutely, absolutely. I 100% agree. And now, if somebody wants to follow you and know more about you in social media, where can they find you?
Well, let's say you can follow me. Just give Judge J and the name Salvatore Giudice comes automatically. I had an artist page, but it costed me too much time,
Mm,
and I have too less time. I'm not the kind of person that loves the social media, to tell the truth.
yeah, yeah,
Uh, I've tried to keep my friendships so low as possible, so that I have the time to communicate with those people that are in my friendship list.
yes.
The bigger it is, and the more the people will get lost. But Facebook, Salvatore Lo Giudice, or just give Judge J. Automatically, you'll see Salvatore Lo Giudice. Instagram, I got Judge J63 with the number 63. Then YouTube, naturally, Judge J. Um, Others, maybe I've got on N1M, but it don't matter. The most
Yeah,
important things, these three are the most important things. Under hear this dot at you can check my sets. If I put sets inside, give them free to download. I'm not the kind of person that say you have to buy or whatsoever. Just herein. That's the reason why I'm here. This I'm not on Mixcloud or SoundCloud, because they want very much more. On hear this as a professional, pay €5 a month, and I've got
Mm.
unlimited amount of upload and downloads. So
Yes.
hear this .at if you want to have sets from me for free, no matter what, from classic 70s, 80s to techno, they're all in.
Yes.
So,
Wonderful. So people go and check them out and go and listen his amazing sets also at hear this ad. And of course, don't forget to check those tunes out at Traxsource, Beatport, all of those
all of them
electronic
everywhere.
music
Yeah.
platforms. And stay tuned for new ones. I'm really, really actually excited about that Zealand, stuff. Zealand is very dear to me, and
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
always appreciating his sound.
I
And
must thank him
I
that I got to know you. Thank him that I got to know you.
yes, just such an amazing artist and human being, and now with your take and your vision and your different takes, so I'm just excited to hear what is gonna come out, and I'm excited to also include them to my DJing sets in near future.
Yeah, well, if you like that, why not? Just let me know. I'll send you all the promos every time.
Oh, wonderful. That's very kind
I
of
can send you when I'm working on them. Still send them over. There's no
you.
problems. I'm not this kind of person. Ah, it's mine. I have to keep it. It's mine. Nobody else. Nobody.
So, mine, no mine.
No. Music is
Oh,
communication. It has no
mm,
barriers. It belongs to nobody. I mean,
yeah,
the 80s, the 70s, 80s, the DJ wasn't even seen. It was the
mm,
music that was playing. The
yeah,
90s, that started to change, and then now he's there on the stage, a great man.
mm,
But it's not DJing anymore. That's
mm,
my my way of thinking. I'm
yeah.
like that background person. I love to. That's the reason why I love underground resistance. They're covered. Nobody knows. It's only about the music. It's not about the person.
I think it should be all about the music. I agree, and that what really truly makes it more spiritual and connecting with the
Yeah,
people. And I believe that all of us we have an important part to play there as a part of the community. You describe it so very well as a DJ. We in our best we can be educators, we can be selectors, curators, we can be promoters of these amazing artists and producers, and we
we bring
somehow
people together.
beautifully go along with that. But we have always opportunity to have
Yeah,
some important impact when it
I
comes to
remember
the protection of
my
music.
last word. Can I just say? We just said something. My last word. I remember 1986.
Hmm.
Two persons, a boy and a girl, kissed each other
Hmm.
on the dance floor. And today they are still married. So
Oh,
you see,
beautiful,
that
beautiful.
that is music. Music
That is
brings
the
people
power.
together. That is the power of
Yes.
music. All right. That's
Beautiful.
all.
Beautifully said. Wonderful. So, with these beautiful words of music uniting people, we end up this interview, and I send you much love straight from Helsinki, Finland.
Oh, oh,
Woohoo!
all the way back from Cologne in Germany.
Ja, vielen Dank. Es war sehr
Nicht zu
schön.
danken, Mädchen.
Ja,
es
es
war
war
echt
wunderschön.
es war echt schön, hier dabei zu sein. Ich finde es wirklich sehr, sehr gut.
Genau,
Jetzt kann
genau.
ich endlich mal ein bisschen mal Deutsch sprechen, dann habe ich nicht mehr den Gedanken,
Natürlich.
jetzt muss ich
Oh
an
ja,
die
genau, genau,
Besetzung.
genau. Und wir müssen unsere wie macht es?
Gehirn
Showering.
anstrengen.
Genau, ja. Sie fühlen sich anstrengend jetzt, aber ja, okay.
Du sprichst aber wirklich sehr gut, muss ich ganz ehrlich sagen. Besser als ich.
Also dann, schönen Dank noch und schönes Tag auch. Und tschüssi
Wünsche ich.
aus
Ciao, ciao,
Helsinki.
ciao ragazzi, ciao a tutti,
Ciao,
ciao, ciao,
ciao.
ciao, 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 ciao.